In the heart of the 19th century, a new way of thinking began to stir. It was called Transcendentalism. This was more than just a philosophy, it was a movement. Its followers felt they were on a mission. They believed in the inherent goodness of people and nature. They felt that society and its institutions had corrupted the purity of the individual. Their goal was to awaken minds. They sought to spread their ideas far and wide, challenging the conventions of their day. They believed that true understanding came from within, through personal intuition and experience, not just from established doctrines or historical learning. These transcendentalists were often highly educated individuals. Many came from comfortable backgrounds. They gathered together, sharing their thoughts and beliefs, forming a community of thinkers and writers, and using lectures to reach the public directly. Essays and books became their tools to disseminate their philosophy. Magazines carried their messages into homes across the land. They were not content to keep their ideas to themselves. They actively sought to inspire change, to push society towards a more enlightened state. One that valued individual spirit and a direct connection to the universe. This was a time of great intellectual ferment, and they were at its very center. Among these influential figures was a man named Henry David Thoreau. He was a unique voice even within this unconventional group. While many transcendentalists discussed their ideas in salons and lecture halls, Thoreau took a different path. He chose to live his philosophy in a deeply personal way. He believed in testing ideas through direct experience. For him, understanding nature meant immersing himself in it, away from the distractions of civilization. He wasn't afraid to stand apart, to minimize his contact with society, if he felt it compromised his principles. He would become a powerful example of living by one's convictions. Thoreau's early life in Concord, Massachusetts deeply shaped him. He was fortunate to come under the influence of Ralph Waldo Emerson. Emerson was another leading light of the Transcendentalist movement. He became a mentor and friend to the younger Thoreau. However, Thoreau was never one to simply follow. He absorbed ideas, but he always forged his own distinct path. His connection to Emerson provided a foundation, but his spirit was fiercely independent. This independence would lead him to create works and live a life that still captures our imagination, prompting us to question our own ways of living and thinking even today. Thoreau famously sought to put his ideas into practice. He built a small cabin by Walden Pond. He lived there for 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days. This was not an escape from life, but an attempt to live it more fully. He wanted to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life. He believed that by simplifying his existence, he could understand its true meaning. He meticulously observed the changing seasons and the wildlife around him. His time at Walden was an experiment in self-reliance and a deep communion with the natural world. He sought to discover what life had to teach when stripped bare of societal pressures. His philosophy championed minimalism and self-sufficiency. Thoreau questioned the relentless pursuit of material wealth. He saw it as a trap that kept people from truly living. Why, he asked, should we spend our best years working for things we do not truly need? He advocated for a life of simplicity. He believed that by reducing our desires, we could increase our freedom. This freedom would allow us to pursue intellectual and spiritual growth. His own life at Walden, where he grew his own food and lived on very little, was a testament to this belief. It was a radical idea then, and it remains a challenge to our consumer-driven world now. Thoreau was not just a naturalist and philosopher. He was also a passionate advocate for justice. He was deeply involved in the anti-slavery cause. He did not just speak out against slavery. He took action. He aided fugitive slaves on their journey to freedom through the Underground Railroad. His most famous essay on this topic is Resistance to Civil Government, often called civil disobedience. In it, he argued that individuals have a moral duty to refuse to cooperate with unjust laws. He believed that conscience should be placed above the law, especially when the law supported inhumanity like slavery. This was a courageous stance in a deeply divided nation. His personal actions mirrored his powerful words. Thoreau famously refused to pay a poll tax. This tax, he believed, supported the Mexican-American War and the expansion of slavery. For this act of defiance, he spent a night in jail. This experience only strengthened his convictions. He saw that even a small act of resistance could make a powerful statement. His approach was to live his principles even when it meant facing consequences. He showed that true freedom meant not just living simply in nature but also standing up against the injustices perpetuated by society and government, using one's life as a form of protest. The power of Thoreau's ideas did not fade with his passing. Instead, his words traveled across oceans, inspiring thinkers and activists far from Concord. One of the most profound impacts was on Mahatma Gandhi. While leading India's struggle for independence, Gandhi encountered Thoreau's civil disobedience. He was deeply moved by its arguments for non-violent resistance. Gandhi adopted and adapted these principles into his philosophy of satyagraha, or truth force. He saw in Thoreau a kindred spirit who understood the moral power of individuals challenging unjust authority through peaceful means. Thoreau's night in jail became a symbol for a global movement. Another great mind touched by Thoreau's work was the Russian writer Leo Tolstoy. Tolstoy, known for his epic novels, also grappled with questions of faith, morality, and simple living. He found resonance in Thoreau's rejection of materialism and his embrace of a life lived in accordance with one's conscience. Tolstoy, in his later years, advocated for a life of manual labor, spiritual seeking, and nonviolence. He recognized Thoreau as a pioneer of these ideals. The connection between these thinkers shows how fundamental human questions about how to live a good life transcend national and cultural boundaries, finding common ground in shared values. Thoreau's writings, especially Walden, continued to inspire countless others. People seeking alternative lifestyles, a deeper connection with the natural world, or a path to self-discovery, found a guide in his words. His detailed observations of nature awakened a sense of wonder and respect for the environment in his readers. He wasn't just describing plants and animals, he was revealing a way of seeing the world, a way of being present in it. His call to live deliberately resonated with those who felt lost in the rush of modern society, offering a blueprint for a more intentional and meaningful existence. This appeal has only grown stronger over time. Beyond individual seekers, Thoreau's work laid important groundwork for the modern environmental movement. His profound appreciation for the wilderness, and his warnings about the consequences of unchecked development and authority were prophetic. He urged people to see nature not merely as a resource to be exploited, but as a source of spiritual renewal and essential wisdom. Figures like John Muir, a key figure in the preservation of natural landscapes in America, drew inspiration from Thoreau. His legacy can be seen in the ongoing efforts to protect wild places and to foster a more sustainable relationship between humanity and the planet. He helped to articulate why nature matters. More than 160 years after his death, Henry David Thoreau's ideas still speak to us with remarkable clarity. Why is this? Perhaps it is because the challenges he confronted are still society's challenges. We live in an age of unprecedented consumerism. The pace of modern life can feel overwhelming. The call to simplify, to distinguish between our needs and our wants is more relevant than ever. He encourages us to step back from the endless pursuit of more. He asks us to consider what truly adds value to our lives. His message offers an antidote to the anxieties of a materialistic and hyper-connected world. His advocacy for individual conscience and civil disobedience also holds profound significance today. We face complex political and social issues. Questions of justice and ethics are constantly before us. Thoreau reminds us that we have a moral responsibility to think for ourselves. We must question authority and refuse to participate in systems we believe are wrong. Whether it's protesting social injustice or challenging government overreach, his example inspires citizens to take principled stands. He shows that one person, guided by conscience, can indeed make a difference, even against powerful forces. This is a vital message for any authoritarian society. Thoreau's deep reverence for nature is urgently needed in our time. We are grappling with urban sprawl, concrete jungles, and widespread biodiversity loss. His writings invite us to look closely at the natural world, to appreciate its beauty and its intricacies. He understood that our well-being is intrinsically linked to our connection with nature. His call to preserve wildness, to protect the earth, transcends politics. It's our natural state of existence. He teaches us that nature is not just a backdrop for human activity, but an essential part of who we are, a source of solace and profound lessons. Thoreau's legacy endures because his philosophy offers timeless wisdom. He challenges us to live more consciously, more ethically, and more engaged with the natural world. He urges us to question the status quo, to simplify our lives, and to connect deeply with nature and consciousness. His words are not just historical artifacts, they are living invitations. They invite us to examine our own lives, to make deliberate choices, and to strive for a world that is more just, more sustainable, and more attuned to the quiet wisdom that surrounds us. If only we take the time to listen. Are you listening? This video is brought to you by Organarchy, a Sun Spectrum media production. Thanks for watching. Be the change, and evolve.